we want a loud tone, we press down toward the guitar more, and then release. A softer tone, we press less, and we get a softer tone. The follow-through is still according to the pressure, but it's just that you can't see it as much now because this is getting in the way of the follow-through. Got that? Now, another very important point. After you pluck, I'll stick with the rest stroke here, I'm emptying out my finger. Watch this. Here my finger is tight. Here it's empty. Tight, empty. So watch me empty out my finger now. You see? It's not a dramatic spring back. I don't go... In fact, that's not relaxing at all. When I empty the finger out, it's done quickly, and I'm ready to move anywhere I need to. If I need to move back, let's say to the B string, I'm ready to do it. I empty and kind of spring my finger where I need it to go. Now, each stroke is used for different things. A rest stroke, for its fatter, punchier quality, more Spanish quality, is used a lot in certain pieces. Let's take this En los Trigales by Rodrigo. Good example of the use of a rest stroke. Not lots of others, but I just like that piece a lot. A free stroke, because of its nature, lends itself well to Baroque music, Renaissance music, and, well, here's an example. I'll play the Frog Gallery by John Dowland. Now here, I use primarily free stroke, but to accentuate certain notes, I add a rest stroke here and there. A very light rest stroke, but a rest stroke nevertheless. So here's the Frog Gallery by John Dowland. Okay, now that we've talked about those a little bit, I want to mention one more point, and that is that the tip joint should remain flexible, meaning that it shouldn't flex all the time, but you have to control it, because the louder you play, the more this is going to relax slightly. Let me explain. You don't want to keep it rigid in this position. The softer you play, that's going to be fine, but the louder you play, if you keep it locked in that position right there, you're going to be clawing at the string. It's going to sound pretty ugly. So the louder you play, or in other words, the harder you grip the string before you release it, it's at that point that this tip joint should just relax a little bit. Don't cave it in all the way, but just basically work on controlling it, because you're going to need that control for quality of sound. Something to think about. So anyway, the main points are these. First of all, you want to keep the large joint or the knuckle joint for a free stroke above the string you're going to play, more or less. Experiment with it. For a rest stroke, again, more or less, the knuckle joint comes back to about 1 or 2 strings below the string you're playing. Number 2, allow your finger plenty of swing space or follow-through space. For a free stroke, that means going up in the air and missing the strings adjacent to it, and for a rest stroke, the swing space includes the adjacent string. Number 3, don't forget, the 3 components of a stroke are place, pressure, release. Place, pressure, release. Then you empty out your finger, as I demonstrated earlier. During the pressure part of the stroke, it's very important, as I demonstrated, to press down into the instrument. Notice I was pressing down. You never pull the string toward your chin, never up this way. That's clawing at the string. That's not going to give you very much sound, or not a very good sound. Press down. Last but certainly not least, try to work on your rest stroke and free strokes so that they're fairly equal. As you know by now, they each have their own characteristics, but ideally you want them to sound pretty much equal so that you can interchange them at any time. One of the first things I do in my pumping nylon classes is to have everybody put down their first finger on the F on the 6th string. I want you to try that with me. F, 6th string, 1st fret. Play it. That's all, just play it. Now, you ever been aware of how much pressure you've been adding to each note? Right now, feel the pressure you're adding on that note. Now, let's do this here. Chances are we're all pressing way too hard. We're going to try to save ourselves a lot of undue stress by gauging our pressure now. And we're going to come up with the amount of pressure that we need, no more. Let's try this now. With your first finger, take that note and mute the note. Like that. You're not pressing, you're just keeping your finger there. Now this is what we're going to do. We're going to gradually add pressure. Press. There, stop adding pressure. There's our note. As soon as the buzz goes away, we have our note. Let's try it again. Mute. And start pressing. Perfect. Stop pressing. Right there. That's our note. Now really feel that. It's probably a lot less than you've been pressing, isn't it? I'll bet it is. Now, with each of these that we do, stop for a second. You've got a pause button. Stop the video. Work with it. Gauge that pressure, because I want you to do this for the rest of the video. Let's go to the second finger. Mute the note. Now start pressing gradually. Stop right there. That's your note. Feel it? Now let's go on. Third finger. Mute the note. Start pressing gradually. There's our note. Feel it? Now let's go on to the fourth finger. Same thing, mute the note. And add pressure and stop. Stop adding pressure. There's our note. Okay, feel it? Now you probably just push stop or pause or whatever it was you needed to practice that. Now we've added